BMAX Audio Adventure. Friday recap. That thing. Here it is.
So here's a quote. In jiu-jitsu, there is no losing. You either win or you learn. Like most really cool quotes in the jiu-jitsu community, pretty much everybody claims they made this one up and they were the first one to say it. You know, kind of like the whole ground, ocean, shark, mat quote that everybody does. Listen, I understand the sentiment of there's no losing. You either win or you learn. I get it. I really do. And in a way, I totally agree. We got to take lessons from every encounter. Good, bad. We got to grow from our losses and become better because of them. I totally get it. But I got to say, as much as anything in jiu-jitsu, this saying drives me out of my mind. It drives me completely insane. Of course there's losing.
In the past, I've been guilty of this win or learn thing. I'll lose a match, lose a competition, and just put up this big win or learn style post. But to be honest, it's like a participation medal. It kind of seems like it's a way for some people to just, they don't have to face the failure. They don't have to learn from the failure. They just get to say that phrase, win or learn, and that kind of covers them. Now, they're covered until next fight when, will they make the same mistake again? Have they learned? I don't know. I prefer to look at it as a failure and be a bit more honest about the shortcomings. Like when I lose in a competition, like when I get guillotined, it's not just, oh, well, win or learn, bro. No, you got choked. How did you get choked? Right, well, you let him pass your guard. Why'd you let him pass your guard? What did he do to pass your guard? Is he even good at guard passing? You failed. That's all I have to say, really. Back to Brandon.
That's what happens in a contest. You get a winner and a loser. And if you have a winner, then of necessity, you must have a loser. The joy, the elation of winning cannot exist without the pain of loss. Hot cannot exist without cold. Light cannot exist without dark. On cannot exist without off. And winning cannot exist without losing.
Just a side note here, I don't know why my mind's drifting to this, but why doesn't Chick-fil-A exist outside of America? Ireland could use some Chick-fil-A. Back to Brandon.
This is a great truth. Pleasure and pain are forever tied together in equal distribution. The amount of joy that you can experience from winning is directly tied to the depth of pain that is experienced from loss. It has to matter. It has to. You must go out and dare greatly and fail. The lesson comes from the loss. It is inexorably tied to the loss, to the pain. That's where the lesson lives.
So, I say so a lot, and that's irrelevant to the story I'm about to say. I just thought I'd note that. When I fought, when I first fought MMA years ago, not long after I had started training, I was not ready for the fight. I took a fight. It was a stupid idea. Got beat up for 3 rounds, and I remember I had invited all of my work colleagues out, a lot of my friends out, I had invited family out, and then I got beat up for 3 rounds in front of these people. And I thought that this was the worst day of my life. I thought that I was never gonna, I didn't know what was gonna happen. I felt like I had let everyone down. It felt like it was the worst day of my life. It was a weird day. But the next day, someone handed me a DVD that had my fight on it. I did not look at that fight for years. I was embarrassed to look at it. I still thought it was going to be like one of the worst things to ever happen to me. A few years later, I stumbled upon that DVD. I watched it. I laughed. It was hilarious how bad I was, but it was funny. I failed miserably in that fight. I took a knee to the face in that fight. I got beat up for 3 rounds in that fight. Beat up in front of friends and family for that fight. And afterwards, I put up some sort of post about blah, 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 lost my fight, win or learn, blah, blah, blah. Back to the mats on Monday, bro. Whatever I said, I definitely said something along the lines of win or learn. But I wasn't learning from it. I was not at the time. At the time, I was trying to sweep it under the rug and never have to deal with it. I was so ashamed of it. I just didn't even want my name associated with it. I didn't want to talk to people in work. I didn't want to. It was months and months after that of listening to people in work just assume that I was terrible at MMA and jiu-jitsu just because of that one night. And that helped me in a way. Kind of added a chip on my shoulder where I wanted to prove them wrong by getting better, I suppose, which here I am. A god on the mats. No, am I joking? But yeah, that was a failure, and maybe if I had have accepted it as a failure at the time, instead of trying to soften the blow by saying win or learn, maybe I would have learned from it a bit quicker. Not that I didn't learn from it, I definitely did. But I could have learned a bit quicker. Back to Brandon, because to be honest, I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore, and I don't even know what the original point is. So, back to him until I feel like I have something else remotely entertaining to say.
When you've trained your hardest, you've dieted and prepared and cut weight and tortured yourself with cardio and impossibly hard rounds and strength and conditioning, when you've truly gone out there and given your best for weeks or months and you still lose, there's no pain that feels the same. I'm not saying it's the worst pain in the world, but there's nothing that feels like that. It's horrible. And that is the gift of losing, the gift of a loss. A loss presents us with the choice of daring greatly again or cowering down and backing away from the potential pain and embarrassment. And it is within that choice that your own personal greatness is born or aborted.
Last year, when I was in the car on the way to, I know you guys call it Atlanta, but I'm going to call it Atlanta because it's spelled Atlanta. Just saying. We were on our way there to the airport, and Brandon mentioned the whole win or learn thing. He mentioned how it was like a participation medal and that he thinks it's more win or fail, and when you fail, it's going to hurt. You let it hurt, but not for too long. But you now have the opportunity, I'm Irish, I can't talk, to see what that failure has to say. And that, I think, is a lot better than the idea of you either win or become a learner. Nah. You lost. You're a loser for this one day only. You can see what that loss has to say and learn from it, but you still lose it today. That sucks to hear, but oh well.
You must gamble your emotion. You must gamble your physical safety. You must take this thing that you care about so much, that you've worked so hard for, and you must strip it bare and lay it down for all of the world to see. And when it falls apart, when it breaks and gets destroyed, what's left of you?
I'm in a glass case of emotion.
The opportunity to sit down quietly with your thoughts after losing is a privilege that's reserved only for those who are willing to put everything they believe in and work so hard for on the line and dare to have that destroyed. It matters. It has to matter. If you compete without training your hardest and preparing yourself to the fullest extent, then you absolutely cheat yourself of this opportunity. If you didn't care enough to let the loss devastate you, then you can't experience the true elation of victory. Therefore, your preparation tells the real story about who you are. And I've been both in my life, and you probably have been too if you've been around the game very long. I've been a winner, and I've been a loser. I've trained my hardest, and I've not trained very hard. Win, lose. I've also competed and not accomplished either because my preparation didn't give me the opportunity to win or lose. I might have gotten the gold, but it didn't move me or change me. I might have lost, but it didn't move me or change me. Greatness lies in the gamble. In jiu-jitsu, there is only winning or losing, but learning exists in both. And if you hide behind the idea that a loss doesn't matter, then you're cheating yourself out of so much potential growth. And I believe that you'll never reach your true capabilities without embracing the pain and the devastation that comes from daring greatly and failing.
And while we're on that note, I also believe that you'll never reach your true capabilities if you don't own a pair of personalized, customized, handmade leather flip-flops from our boys over at Toehold. Oh, sometimes the intros are just too good. Just going to sit and enjoy, bask in the quality of that intro. ShopToehold.com. I gave you some other link last time. The other link works. ShopToehold.com. Much easier to remember. So, if you want a chance to win a pair of free flip-flops, sorry, getting way off track here. If you want a chance to win a pair of free flip-flops, all you have to do is screenshot the podcast on whatever you're listening to it on. Spreaker, iTunes, I don't know what else it's on. Whatever else it's on, just screenshot it. Then put that screenshot in your Instagram story, tag at toe_hold, and tag BrandonMC.ninja for a chance to win a pair of free flip-flops. Another thing, though, even more important than the free flip-flops, is that on their website, last week, I told you about their hoodies, the Irish Keet hoodies, and the Irish Keet flip-flops. But now, they've got an Irish Keet bag as well. What more could you want? Just do it. Slide into Toehold's DMs, tell them you heard about them on the podcast, and you might be lucky enough to get a discount on some of the other gear. They have got everything. Check them out, shoptoehold.com. Get on it. And one last thing, me and Brandon have not been on top of things with the podcast this week, Monday and Wednesday. It was a crazy week. We had some extra stuffs going on in the gym, so that took up some extra time. We had Johnny Book visiting. That was wild. Book, I don't even know if Book listens to this, so I'm just going to tell the world that I took Book down. Maybe that didn't even happen. Maybe it did. I'll leave that up to you guys to figure out. Did featherweight Keet, with no wrestling experience, take down Johnny Book? Did he? Who knows? Who knows? Write to Johnny Book and find out. Just tell him that you heard that he got double-legged by Keet. Tell him you heard he got single-legged by Keet. Doesn't matter what the takedown is, just say it to him. Annoy him. I don't care. Just annoy Johnny Book. That'll make me happy. Love you, Johnny Book. Please don't hurt me when you come back. What else? Yeah, podcasts. What do you guys want to see or hear? You're not going to see anything. But what do you guys want to hear? Do you want to hear more episodes with guests? Do you want to hear more of these Friday recaps? We'll get back on track with the podcast. We'll decide which direction we're going with this. Yeah, that's it. Bye.